thank you for attending, myself and my daughter Lily as well. It's the, is there a name for this? I guess it's like, I think I put gaming with children because I'm uncreative enough to think of like, married with children, gaming with children. Missing from the stage is my other daughter Laura. She didn't realize that this was the same weekend as homecoming. And she was really excited to go to homecoming, so she couldn't make it today, which is fine. I know, I gave her the option. I said, well, you can come hang out here, or you can, go to homecoming with your boyfriend, and I'm cool with that too. And Laura literally said, like, oh, is it one of your boring video game things that I go to all the time? All right. So I was like, for that you are going to homecoming, because you ain't coming with me now. But leading into this panel, and we've had this planned for a while, we didn't know, or at least myself, like, Laura's a talker. Like, I have 3 children, all 3 of them completely different personalities. It's, as I say, it's same ingredients, different cookies. Laura is the extrovert. She will grab a microphone, yell at it. I mean, she's a hard sell when it comes to like school candy. She'll knock on doors and just like, confront people and put it in their face and say, you want to buy this for this reason. Which is great. I mean, it has its pros and cons, obviously. Lily, on the other hand, is my introvert who likes to hide behind my leg. And until she opens up, and then when she opens up, then she's just fine and she's just comfortable. And then my youngest son, Jaron, he's the one, high support needs, autism, nonverbal, and he's not here because he'd be running around and, I don't know, probably like repositioning chairs or something, I don't know. So for that, because Laura's a talker, we have 45 minutes here, and our entire panel was planned out because she does a lot of talking. So once I learned that she wasn't going to be here, I was like, well, now I got to redo my whole panel now because it was going to be the her of us, and Lily would be here too to interject every once in a while, right? And but it wasn't going to happen anymore. So then I came up with something. Yes, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm a YouTuber. I could help you talk.
Oh, there we go. With Laura being gone, then I came up with this other panel. It's like, okay, well, I can do all the talking. I'm a radio DJ by my day job. It's fine. And then I came up with this panel idea, and I came up with this, topic, and I kind of had it timed out, so it'd be about 45 minutes, leaving a little bit of time for Q&A if there happens to be any. And then just thinking it over in my mind, like, just commuting back and forth and just having it go through my mind, what the panel would be like. I was like, wow, that sounds actually very, very boring to hear me talk for 45 minutes. So I'll do the abbreviated version of that. We'll open up for Q&A if there is any. And then because it's about gaming with children, I brought my Switch, and we're gonna play some games on it with you for some fabulous prizes, courtesy of, I shouldn't say sponsors, because I'm not getting any money from them or anything like that, but they have provided me some prizes to give away. Things like controllers from Retrobit and stuff like that too, and other, like if you watch my channel and you see me like, hey, here's this weird bootleg Game Boy looking thing with like 1,000 games on there, I brought a bunch of those too. So if you beat one of us, especially Lily, who's really good at this game that we're going to play later on. If you can beat her at it, then you get a prize, and if not, you'll get a consolation prize, all the same. So, with that being said, how are you feeling? You got John Riggs here.
Lily Riggs.
Yeah. And just like how our YouTube channel is set up, and I say our because she's part of it too, I don't work with a script, I don't even work with bullet points. It's usually things that will like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this one thing later on. But the abbreviated version, I guess, to be where we are now is, the quick story of where I came from is, I'm the 6th of 7 children. I grew up in 1977. You can do the math on that one. But it was 1977 was the year the Atari 2600 came out. So I grew up with the Atari 2600 in the arcades, moving on to the NES later on too. But this is also like the early 80s, and those of us who are old enough to remember the early 80s, it was one television per household, was kind of like how it was. It was like having more than one TV, it'd be like having more than one microwave. Just didn't make sense, because at the time you already had a TV. So being the 6th of 7 children, and I had 2 older brothers who also liked video games, finding video game time was, it was a valued commodity. Because my dad, he worked, he was the entertainer, he was the breadwinner. So when he came home, what was on TV was what he was watching. So I grew up with a lot of like nostalgic movies, a lot of like Marx Brothers and things like that. But to play video games or to play my Atari, I couldn't play it when he was home. And then I had other brothers and sisters who also wanted to watch their whatever shows they were watching too. So in my mind, I learned that I was about maybe, I want to say 4 years old, maybe like 5 or 6 years old. I learned that to get any video game time in for myself, I would have to wake up at like 3:30 or 4 a.m. And then and that's when I first learned how to, unhook. We didn't have the little slider switch, so we had to undo the coax from the cable, then plug in the Atari, and then once my other brothers and sisters woke up, then I was like, well, I already been playing for like an hour or whatever. That was good enough for me. It wasn't until later on, late 80s, I finally got my own TV, but it was still in the living room, not my bedroom. So I was like, okay, fine, because we had there was what we called the family room, which was where the TV was, and we had the living room where you first walk in. So I was like, that TV was there, and that was it, man. That was my escape from a chaotic family of everyone plays musical. I came from a musical family too, so I had a brother who played the drums, a sister who played the violin, another sister who played the flute, my brother played the French horn and all that, and they practiced in their own rooms and all that. So a lot of noise, a lot of chaos, a lot of children. And video games was kind of like my escape. It's probably why I love it so much today. And breakfast cereal, of course. And then, oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Not necessary, but I won't decline. I'll never decline free breakfast cereal. And then that brings us today, where then I started to have my own children along the way. It took somebody else, and I was still into video games, but I wasn't into retro gaming or collecting. I had emulators and stuff like that. It wasn't until it has to have been about 10 years ago when one of my friends said, hey, you like video games? Here's a list of the 10 rarest Nintendo games or whatever. Just completely being out of the loop on collecting. And I was looking at this list. I was like, I still have most of these from when I was buying liquidation stock in the late 90s and all that. It was still at my parents' house, so I had to rescue that and bring it back and everything. So then I have my own children. I have the new systems too, but I would always go back to the old Nintendo, or I'd go back to the Genesis or Super Nintendo or something like that. And then as my children were growing up, they really didn't have an interest in video games at all. They're just like, I don't get it. So I was like, well, I don't know, DNA test to prove their mind or something. I don't know, try to figure that out. But then they kind of gravitated. We had the Sesame Street games for the NES, so started with that. That was easy enough. That was simple enough. So both Laura and Lily both played Sesame Street for a while there. To make the games easier to take in and out of a top loader, I jammed a Game Genie in there. So they would always just bypass the Game Genie screen, but because the letters were there, I remember, I hate to embarrass you, I'm gonna do it anyway. Four-year-old Lily playing Sesame Street, but she has to go through the Game Genie, so she'd actually spell her name first with the Game Genie. It wouldn't do any codes or anything, but with Game Genie, Lily, then she'd hit start, and that proved that she was gonna play it from there. And then just trying to find the other games. That's also when I noticed Laura would play Castlevania, but she had a personality quirk where she was just making her own sound effects and all that. And I was like, oh, maybe there's an entertainment value to this. And I was like, well, should I put them on my YouTube channel? Should I not? Child security and all that. There's the Child Protection Act and all that too. So, both her mom and I both was like, okay, well, we'll do it super safe. We have a bazillion filters in her comments, so certain words won't ever come through ever. I might see them in the review. And fortunately, for the most part, with the exception of maybe a count on one hand amount of all the comments that we get. They're all positive, fortunately. And then coming out to other conventions too, not just in Portland, but across the coast, Too Many Games or whatever convention that I ever go to. The number 2 compliments I always get are I like when you try to fix broken video games. And then the other one is, hey, I like the fact that you have your kids on your channel, because I have kids and we watch YouTube together and stuff like that. And I was like, that's a great compliment to me, I suppose. And that's why I start to get them out to conventions more often too. And it's fun to see Lily's face when somebody says, hey, your name's Lily, and I know I watch you on YouTube, and it's some random 50-year-old dude. But I'm okay with that, and I kind of said it may or may not happen just in case, and if somebody might want your picture or something like that, I'm okay with that too, and we'll figure it out from there. So, you want to hop on the microphone? You want to say some stuff? Nope. It's not going to happen so much today. It's okay. Well, you want to talk about maybe some of your favorite games? Because we played, and that's the other nice thing too, is growing up with, my children now. Again, I grew up with the Atari 2600 in the arcades, and then had the spectrum of everything, between then and now. While my children grew up with my collection. So, my however many Nintendo games, Super Nintendo, Genesis, PlayStation 1 even, on through Dreamcast and all that too. So, for me, it's I get a nostalgic flashback playing, NES or playing something on a Game Boy or something like that. But with my kids, it's video games. There is no retro gaming. There is no, old school games. They recognize if a game is older or newer, of course. But to them, it's not retro gaming. It's the same video games. My other daughter Laura will play. She loves Super Mario 3D World for the Wii U, and she'll go straight from that to playing I don't know, Sesame Street or whatever for the NES, and it's no big deal. There's like to her, it's just like, I can't play the Sesame Street game. It's 8-bit graphics. It's not that she would know, because to her it doesn't matter. And I like the fact that it doesn't matter because it's all video games at the end of the day, and we still supporting the homebrews and all that too. So, well, Lily, I'll open up your Q&A for yourself. What are some of your favorite games to play? I'm blocking your light too. What do you think? Grab a microphone. No? You don't want to grab a microphone? You okay? Okay. Is this fun? Is it a little embarrassing? All these people are looking at us. Yeah, see, look at that. Yeah, come on. Give it up for Lily. Because even at first, when inviting my other kids down here, I was just like, well, we're going to do a panel. That's why they're inviting us. They invite us down. They say, hey, can you show up? We're going to be here anyway. But just to help out, there's panel availability, and that's when I said, well, if we're going, and if they're inviting you as a guest too, not just me. So, part of our obligation to help out, and I love doing these anyway because I can talk forever. But okay. I'm gonna take a picture. You okay? Are you okay? Do you want to play the game, or do you want to do that later? Something anyway. You have any questions for us? I mean, we can open up for a quick Q&A. Yes.
Yeah. So, can you talk more about like gaming with your son, especially?
Yeah,
Likes Mario Odyssey.
He does. He loved Mario Odyssey. This is my travel Switch, not my Switch that I leave at home. But if I fire up Mario Odyssey, he plays under my account, and it has something like 475 hours put into it, and I'm probably 20 of those. Because for the longest time, he wouldn't even touch video games. Most kids, especially kids with autism, they love Minecraft, Fortnite, and stuff like that, and he just never got into it. There was a time he liked watching me play, of all games, and this is going to be kind of obscure, and hopefully somebody gets it, but there's a game called Panic for the Sega CD, which is, it's like an interactive cartoon. There's no, you don't really die in it, you just keep going. The cartoon, if you're not familiar with Panic for the Sega CD, hey, check it out, please, it's hilarious. But it's just like, it's a cartoon, very like Monty Python inspired, and you have a remote control, and there's like maybe 6 buttons on it, and you're in a room like this, for instance. And maybe you'll push one button, and then, everything will turn red and it'll rain inside the building. And that's a right or wrong answer. That's just like, okay, that's something different. Then it resets itself, and you push another button, and then maybe all the walls kind of close in and everyone gets all huddled in there. And then it moves on to the next thing. So then you're in the same room, maybe you hit the button, and then you teleport to another room, and then you're in a waterfall, and then it just goes on from there. So you don't really die, you just keep seeing the interaction things and then move on. And, but he liked watching me play that, so after a while I was like, okay, he kind of gets it now. So I gave him the Sega Genesis controller for the Sega CD, and he kind of looked at it, and he put it on the ground, and then he started like moving like a mouse. And I was like, nah, it doesn't work that way, so I kind of like hand over hand, he's a lot of hand over hand for instructions, so I put his hand over hand, and I pushed up, and I showed him that the thing was going up, and I pushed down, and the thing was going down, and then he figured it out. And then that was one game he actually did play for a while. I mean, it was a rare time, because he's also like super hyper, super active. Watching him, you're always on your toes. So he actually played that game for a while, which was nice, because I was like, oh my god, he's actually sitting down for a second. I can actually go to the bathroom or something, for the first time in 20 years, whatever it is. And then it wasn't from there. I mean, he got bored with it after a while, I think. But then after Mario Odyssey came out, it was cool because, again, sure, you might die, but you're just right there again. Unlimited lives, and I love that. So he's started out just by running around, just like running around in circles and running around and everything. Then he learned, what the jump button was. And he's also very, I don't know, the word's not intuitive, but he's smart enough, I guess, where, after a while, I was like, okay, well, here's the jump. And after I learned how to do that, I was like, if you jump and then hit it again, you'll ground pound or something. And then after, it wasn't too much longer, or too much later after that I was watching him do those, where he runs a little bit, then goes backwards, and then double jumps, and then bounces up to jump again to like a higher level. I was like, oh my god, these guys, are to do it better than I am. But he's playing it just for fun. He's not actually trying to beat the game or anything like that. He just goes around and runs around. So for him, it's always trying to find, what game, it's trial and error. We tried Minecraft, he's not interested. We tried, I have Fortnite, it's free, right? He's not really interested in that either, but just things that are just more simple and fun. And like Mario, he loved Mario Paint. It's not really a game though. You can play Paint on anything literally, but so with him, it's more of a, when he found it, and when he loved Mario Odyssey, I was like, perfect. Let's I just let him go through it as much as he wanted to, and then after a while, I think he just kind of got on board with it, and now it's to the point where, like, if someone else is playing it and he hears the music, he doesn't like that. So he like keeps like, you know, like begging you for to like turn it off or to play something else or something like that. So yeah, Jaren's a different thing. Do you have any stories for Jaren about Jaren? Nope. Okay. That's gonna be a pretty one-sided panel.
My son is special needs too.
Okay. Does he have? Is there any games that he's gravitated towards, or?
He likes Mario Kart. You can finally start to figure it
Oh,
out.
you know.
He likes it because you can just, it drives the newest Mario Kart 8.
Oh, okay.
And stuff.
Yeah, that would be
He
kind of
likes
fun. You could try that.
simpler games. He really likes Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh.
Not to play, he likes me going to certain levels.
Oh, sure.
He'll like, go to the level with the big fish or whatever.
Oh, no.
And explore that. After a while, I feel bad because I'm getting a little bored.
It's the same level over and over again.
But he just loves it. He loves watching it.
Yeah.
He loves Mario and those.
Oh, that's nice. There's a couple of games that that he likes watching me play. Like there was he loved watching me play Red Dead Redemption for a while just because he called it the horsey game. So he wanted me to not do anything. He just wanted me to hop on a horse and drive and ride around. That's fine by me. I mean things like that are great. What was the game recently that he was really liking? Oh, Untitled Goose Game. Loves Untitled Goose Game. Which is good news for me because I love Untitled Goose Game too. There's only so many missions you can do, but I mean after a while you just honk at the little kid and just terrorize him. That's a great question, though. I mean, I'm always looking for more games that, not really. I don't want to say on his level because he can do all these great things on Mario Odyssey, but he has to want to play it first too. My great story about Jaren, really quickly, is to show him like his smartness. I mean, again, nonverbal, high energy, all that, and but he would always like open the refrigerator, then leave it open. And I was like, okay, well, I got a refrigerator lock, like a childproof refrigerator lock, and you can see where this is going. So it took him about maybe. It wasn't long, 30 seconds to figure out how to unlock it. But he's also, like, we've pounded politeness into our children before they could even speak or anything. So he would open it up, childproof lock, he'd open up the fridge, grab whatever he wanted, and then he'd lock it back up for us. Not realizing the lock's for him. So, anyway, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. Yeah?
I feel weird yelling sitting, so.
Oh, it's okay.
So I'm a lifelong gamer, and I've also been making videos on YouTube since year one.
Oh.
And I now have a 1 and a 3-year-old, and so my 3-year-old is running away.
Yep, I see you.
Link, please come back here. Anyway, thank you for illustrating my point. So I started a new channel for him. I haven't put anything on it yet, but it's
Right.
called Link's Plays because his name is Link.
Perfect.
And I'm wondering how you started to introduce your kids to like actually have them participate with your videos, and also if you have any games that you don't die in to recommend for a 3-year-old.
Oh, sure. I mean, Mario Odyssey is great, and again, Panic for the Sega CD, even if you have to use like a RetroPie and emulate it, RetroPie 3, and I'm sure, I have a 4, I haven't played with it too much, but RetroPie 3 emulates Sega CD fairly well. So I mean, Panic, I mean, there's a Sesame Street games for the NES, and those are fine, but it's also like, the jumping's a little awkward, and the hit detection, I mean, because it's an NES game.
Yeah.
But those are fine too. But I'm always looking out for more games like that too. Just games that you don't die. I mean, even Super Mario 3D World. And one of the great things about the Mario games is they kind of understand now that, like they're fun for us too. But it's like, and even me, like I'll die 5 times in the same spot, and that's why you get the little alert saying like, do you want me to beat the level for you? Like, do you want us to go through that? So I'm always looking out for games that are like that too.
He doesn't understand about enemies, so he'll just like run into them and then.
Oh, sure. Oh, man. Yeah. No, I mean, I always think back to the Panic for the Sega CD, but I'm sure there were other games out there. And the Sega CD has other children-friendly, there's a whole series of games. There's like Men at Work. What was that one? There's one of them, it's just more of like an interactive movie where it's like kind of like a choose-your-own adventure where you're at the job site and you have to like, okay, move the wrecking ball and hit the button to, smash through the thing. And if you move it too far, then you'll end up smashing through, like the portal potty or something like that. It's like, oh, that's not it, let's try it again, and we'll do it again. And it's also like Sega CD video compression, so it's like this little window of what it is. But I remember having that too.
So how did you get your kids to like interact with your videos?
It's funny. I should look back to find out when I first had them on my channel, because I don't remember. It may have been, what was it? Hop on the microphone there.
It was when you made us like direct your way.
That's right. That's true. The very, very, very earliest video that I have of them, and it's still on YouTube. I don't think it's on the channel I'm using currently. It might be like on my personal YouTube channel, which is fine. your YouTube channel now? That's fine by me. I thought, when I first started making YouTube videos, I thought it would be fun to do kind of like Game Sitter CX or, whatever that is, where, do these little stupid challenges. I'm going to see if I can beat the first level of Super Mario Brothers with the controller upside down. I'm going to see if I can swim through the seaweed in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, swim through the seaweed without getting hit, stuff like that. And then one of them was me trying to beat the first level of Super Mario Brothers 3 without looking, like wearing a blindfold kind of thing. And I've tried it a few different, I figured out how to do it finally, and it involves listening to the music and then jumping at certain parts of the song, which is another video for another time. But my very first video was, I had them tell me when to jump, kind of thing. So there's always a delayed reaction too.
How old were they?
Oh, geez, let's see.
I was like 3.
I think you were 3, and then Laura was 5. And Laura wasn't having it, because after I died a couple of times, Laura was like, I'm out. And she's like, how about Lily B's the judge? And she literally says, how about Lily B's the judge? And good luck. And then she started like whimpering, because she was like, I don't want to do it by myself. And then she took my hood off so I could see the screen. So, not that there was a huge response, because this was like I had like probably less than 100 subscribers at the time.
I remember those days.
So yeah, you have to. We have to start somewhere. And then from there, I would just kind of have them in. I had an idea to have Laura, because Laura has a lot more personality. Not that she doesn't have personality, but Laura has the outgoing personality, you know what I mean? No, you know what I mean, though. Wow, seriously? Like for spring presents and all that.
Extrovert.
Yeah, exactly. Laura's the extrovert, introvert. So I had it in mind for her to play video games for the first time, and she liked that okay, but then she would always be there too. And then the more I saw her interacting with her, again, this sibling rivalry. So like Laura was the one playing it, but then Lily would be sitting next to her and like kind of mocking her, and then like they would kind of bug each other a little bit. And I was like, that's entertaining, but I don't know, again, I don't know how far we can get with it, as far as YouTube standards go. And then we just,
What standards?
around then like, people are like, hey, we want to send you, a box of snacks or whatever. So we would open those, unboxing videos. It's the weirdest thing in the world, especially when you're starting YouTube, where it's like, I personally, it's like, why would it's like, when you're going to your friend's house on birthday, to watch them open presents. It's like, why do I care? But man, people love these unboxing videos. So we do them anyway, and it gives me a chance to put them in there.
They're good for finding out what's actually in a box.
Oh, sure.
False advertising.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, so then I always end up buying enough stuff that about once a month, we end up doing an unboxing video of some kind.
And you scared me with one.
Yeah, she watches, who was it with the Game Master? Game Master? With like the V for Vendetta mask, and she watches this YouTube channel that has like, we gotta find out where the game is, and it's a continuation. They have millions of subs, millions of subscribers, millions of views, and it's always the same cliffhanger in every episode. We're like, we gotta find the Game Master, but first we have to do this 24-hour stay in a ball pit challenge. And then they do that video, and they're like, oh, there's the Game Master, and we'll see you next time. And then the very next episode is like, oh, the Game Master said we have to, living in whatever this stupid thing is. But again, millions of views, yeah.
What was your game channel or name? Your YouTube name.
Oh, John Riggs?
Okay.
Okay, it's my real name too. I'm not as creative. It's funny, I'm a radio DJ by day, and I don't have a radio name either. It's just my name. That works. I'm linked on the Middle Jesus channel too, so it's easier to find that one. So, right next to her.
So far as you were talking a little bit about games that you were really drawn to when you were younger, and like introducing your kids to those kind of games, but also letting them kind of find their own way of gamers.
Yeah.
So because I don't have a kid at the moment.
Okay.
But we're looking to have one in the next year or so.
All right.
And so we've begun kind of like that process of like archiving the things that like I would hope my kids would someday get introduced to.
Right.
So, one of my things that I've discovered as I'm doing that is that games have this expiration date. Some of these older games, the batteries.
Oh, sure.
So you mentioned you fix games, so I imagine maybe solder the new battery inside.
You can, yeah. They make if you just search for tabbed batteries, and you can find out what they are, or find out what game takes what size. Like NES takes a different size than Game Boy, for instance.
Yeah.
But yeah, in those cases, it's as easy as removing the battery from the other one. The battery's already tabbed, so it has the solder points, and it's a great way to get started with a soldering iron if you've never soldered before.
I haven't. I was just kind of curious. Like, as somebody who's building that archive, do you find self-taught, all that kind of thing? It's fairly easy and intuitive.
Oh yeah, for sure. It makes the most sense when you see it for yourself. And there's there's a plus side and negative side, positive side, negative side, and then you look at the tabbed battery and there's a plus and a minus. So it's like, okay, I can probably figure this out.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
But yeah, there is a finite time, and there's always games that I think they're gonna love, and they don't. And then there'll be and then we'll find something like You know, I didn't think my other daughter would love like JRPG style games or role-playing games or anything, but she found Undertale on her own, probably from all the YouTube memes and all that, and she loves Undertale, so it's like, and she's played through it several times over, but I don't know, have to be surprised. You had your, yeah, go ahead. And then you're next. Yes, please.
That's a question. Like, after you had a kid, but I'm saying, gaming is like, your primary hobby.
Right.
Did you kind of try and direct your kids towards also into gaming, or did you kind of just let them see you game and you're like, oh, you're into this?
Yeah, no, I've always kind of tried, where it's just like, here's, even when Laura was younger, my oldest, and she's 14 now, but even when she was younger, I'd try to put the controller in her hand, and she kind of had this nervous, or even because that was right when she was born, was right when the Wii came out, and it was perfect because especially with occupational therapy and all that, you could go bowling or whatever the case is. So I've tried, but I never pushed. It's like, give it a shot, and if she doesn't, then sometimes they just like watching, which is fine by me. So we've tried. Yeah. Right next. Yep. Go ahead.
I'm not a parent, but
Okay.
I'm a kindergarten teacher.
Perfect.
And every year I do a parent talk on video gaming, and because we have a lot of parents who are sort of apprehensive that their kids are interested in games, but don't
Sure.
know how to approach it. So I guess my question is one of the things I've always said to parents is that if you game with your children, it's such a huge benefit in terms of bonding and just, I think.
It is. I mean, it's yeah, because you're right next to each other. That's one of the reasons I think couch co-op is so important.
So maybe it's a tricky question to ask you because obviously you love video games, but would you have advice on what works gaming with your children in terms of or a parent who's like, oh, I'd like to game with my kid, but honestly it kind of scares me because I've never played games, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's
games other than the obvious Mario. I think we take for granted some games we think are easy aren't necessarily.
Oh no, the original Super Mario Brothers is super hard. If you try playing it today, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and I hate to be the you'll find the perfect game for you, but if you're not into video games, you're just, it's like me saying I don't drink coffee. Not that I have anything against coffee, I just don't drink it personally. But they're like, oh, but you just haven't found the right coffee. I was like, I can also not drink coffee. It's okay. I know it's an acquired taste and all that, but it's like I'm good just drinking water or something.
Maybe a Little Big Planet?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's always or anything that has a discussion involved with it too. We enjoyed playing Heave Ho came out recently for the Switch,
Yeah.
and we loved Heave Ho because it's also team building. You have to work together to get past the level. The Snipper Clips is another great example. I mean, there are other, and the Switch is bringing back so many great couch co-op games that have that idea where you're still in the same room together, you're still doing something at the same time together. I have nothing against online gaming as well, but it's nice when you're right next to each other, and not just taking turns. It's like, okay, then I go, then you go, then I go, then you go, because then I might die immediately, then Lily might go for an hour, and until she dies, and I have to just sitting there watching, going back to the unboxing videos again. Yes? Oh, yep, okay. Which one, Lily? You? Oh, right here.
I want to start a YouTube channel, and I want to learn about some safety. So, what should I do to be safe on YouTube?
Oh, sure. It's I'm glad you asked that. There is a when you do, there is a YouTube. I think it's literally called YouTube Creators or YT Creators. And there's actually a great video and a great series of videos that talks exactly about what you're talking about. Because of course you can be on YouTube. Everyone is, and it's free, right? Because it's a hobby for me. It's not nearly a full-time job, and there's nothing I could do, and it never will be for me either. But it talks about that, and it talks about how to protect yourself, and what you should or shouldn't. You'll know not to do a video in front of your house when it shows your house number, your apartment number, or anything like that. Most go by a different name, or you don't even have to use your face if you don't want to. I've seen other people, it's just their hands playing with Play-Doh or whatever the case may be. But also then in the comments, there's a ton of there's filters, so you can type in certain words where it's and like I said, on our channel we have a lot. And we also have a zero tolerance policy where if anything comes through that's of any negativity whatsoever, they're banned from the channel forever. They can still watch, they just can't comment. Because I don't have time for that. But yeah, there's several ways, and I think it's called YouTube creators or maybe YT creators, and it talks about, you know, not just starting a YouTube channel and what you should do and other great practices and all that, but also, you know, what you should do, you know, if you have a child on your channel, or if you're a children's, especially if you're a children's channel, like if you're making videos for children, you know, that's a different beast compared to, you know, just having like my kids on my channel. But I'm glad you asked. And like I said, starting a YouTube channel is super free, and I do mine. If you've ever seen my channel, it's super low key. I'm literally in my kitchen because it has the best lighting, and lighting is everything. And I record it. I have a Google Pixel 3. I have a Pixel 3 phone, and I do all my video and everything on this. And that's it. And then I use through a MacBook. I have iMovie because it's free. And that's where I do all my editing, so I just keep it as low cost and low maintenance as possible. And don't overthink it, just have fun. You don't have to have fancy edits and all that, I don't. All right, I saw another one over here, green shirt, yes.
Hi, I recently became an Insta-dad. My girlfriend has 2 kids from a previous marriage.
Okay.
And we moved in.
Surprise.
Now suddenly I'm a dad. Ages 6 and 12.
Okay.
There's a pretty severe age gap there. The 12-year-old, I've gotten totally hooked on retro gaming. He loves Vectrex and Coleco and Fairchild, Channel Left, all the really cool stuff I have.
Yeah, nice.
I've tried to get stuff for the 6-year-old, like the Leapfrog and the VTech, You Smile and the Mobigo.
Right.
She only wants to play whatever the 12-year-old is playing.
Right. The expensive stuff.
There's such an age gap there that the skill levels don't match up, and he's having fun until she demands to come in and play.
Right.
So any advice on what to do with kids that have such an extreme age gap in them but want to play together that doesn't end in fights, freakouts, or general frustration?
Yeah. No, I have no advice. There is no advice. And you hate to be, especially the 12-year-old is probably competitive, so it doesn't want to just let them, you know, it doesn't want to like let them lose or anything like that. So, you know, make the other person feel better. What about you, Lily? Oh, okay. Like playing with, because Laura's older than you. I mean, not by 6 years, but yeah. But you don't always. I mean, but you beat Laura sometimes in games. All right. Go ahead at the end here. I wish I had more advice. I mean, I really don't.
Okay, so is there a game that you find all 3 of your children will beg you to play with them? Like one specific game out of all your collection, they all want to play with you?
Well, it was Heave-Ho for a while. I mean, and again, my youngest son, Jaron, he doesn't play anything, so leaving him out of the equation. Heave-Ho was fun, and also the Super Mario Party for the Switch. Which is nice because it takes it back. I mean, like Mario Party. I mean, I liked Mario Party up until about Mario Party 5 or 6, and the rest of them I didn't care for at all. But then when that one came out for the Switch, and you just use the one controller and all that. No, we love that one too. We'll play that one multiplayer and all that. So, but outside of like that, I mean, again, it's couch co-op. We're sitting next to each other. We're all having fun. It's all for fun. Until someone gets that ghost with the stars, and then that's when we go back to the fighting and the rivalry and all that. It's like my buddy was talking about. Any more questions before we play? Yes, right here.
Yeah, this goes back to some of your other panels and tying it into this one. On ones maybe done with NES edits, like hacking games. And
oh, sure, yeah.
Have you ever modded a game to draw the interest of your kids in terms of like representation or things that they would be interested in?
You know, that's a good question, and I haven't, just by nature of I haven't. I mean, not that I haven't thought about it, and I could, and I have made other like game hacks and stuff that are just for ourselves. I mean, and it's mostly like, you know, Excite Bike, but on, I don't know, like tricycles or something. You know, that's a good idea though. I haven't been doing a whole lot of game hacking recently, just because it's very time consuming. But I should get back into it just for things like that. But again, if I did, it would just be for us, and you know, I wouldn't put it out there or anything like that, like I do with my other ones. And we'll go him, and then we'll do our contest stuff. Go ahead.
Thanks. So I run the client services division for our housing authority down in Yolo, California, and the kids there figured out now that I somehow found me on Twitch as I'm a speedrunner.
Okay.
And now they are all talking about doing their own channels and stuff, and some of them have already got Fortnite and things like that going.
Sure.
Some of them are 6. I feel like you know, Twitch can be a really safe place, but it can also be a really dangerous place. It depends on the community.
Oh, yeah.
What the parents have now come to me with advice, and I don't yet have kids of my own, would love to one day if that happens, but what would your advice be to the parents about Twitch and how to keep their kids safe, and so it's a fun and good experience rather than something where, you know, somebody could hurt a child?
No, sure. I mean, and it always comes down to like cyberbullying. It's the same idea, where it's just like, you know, like how do you take it? What do you do? How do you respond? You know, what actions can you take to hopefully, you know, prevent it from happening? Fortunately, I'm a pretty positive channel, so we don't really get a whole lot of like hate comments or anything like that. Yeah, when it comes to Twitch especially too, because you can, like Twitch, it seems like on Twitch you have a little bit more like anonymity, well, compared to YouTube, and that's like linked to your thing. Of course, you can just make multiple YouTube channels too. I mean, nothing wrong with that, because people do all the time, apparently. But yeah, it always just comes down to like, you know, like cyberbullying. How do you deal with it? Knowing the inevitable might happen just by the nature of going to school. You know, it's like, well, you know, these things. It's unfortunate, but it's true, and it, you know, might happen. And Twitch is just like opening the door up to the world.
You can install bots and whitelist words.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, you can use. There's plenty of bots too. Yeah, and don't be shy to use bots.
For sure. One of the things I said is just, you know, if they're going to have a cam and show their face on Twitch, it might be great for you to be there next to them, even if it's not on your face, so you can just kind of hang out.
Sure, and moderate and all that. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the teenagers wouldn't be into that, but the littler kids, I think
Right.
they'd be fine. Yeah. Thank you.
But it's out there. Kind sir.
Quick question. I think I saw you tweet out, maybe it was a complete joke, but you said you were at 100K subscribers. You were going to leave your channel. Is that a joke that you put out?
Oh, when I hit 100,000 subscribers, my channel is dead.
Yeah. So what does that mean?
You know, I had to have 100,000 subscribers first. I'm not deleting my channel.
Okay.
It's the without spoiling what it is. It's a radio stunt that we've done before on a radio station. And I was like, oh, I kind of like that. I want to use that for my channel. And so I may never ever reach 100 million or 100,000 subscribers. But when I do, then there'll be a like, okay, my channel is dead, and here's why, kind of thing. And we'll go from there. So, like I said, we're gonna play Lily's favorite game, 1, 2, switch. Because she loves the runway. Is that what it's called? And